Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, live from Cherry Creek Golf Club in Shelby Township for the Detroit Sports Media Association Charity Golf Scramble, brought to you by our great friends over at Lady Jane's Wicked Awesome Wishes and, of course, Woodward Sports Network. I'm Pilar Laster. We got Dmac. We've got Tom Mazaway. We got Terry Foster joining us today, and also very special guest, Bubba Baker is in the house.
What's up, Bubba?
Welcome. Hey, is this Tom?
It is. Welcome in. You got Darren McCarty and Pilar Lastra and Terry Foster.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Doing great. What's up there, Bubba?
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I'm not so sure you guys, should be congratulating me. I guess I talked to somebody yesterday, and I mentioned the fact that I was crying. Now all my buddies are calling me from all around the country going, yeah, it's really representing us well.
Hey, it's only 43-year record, that's all.
Listen,
Right.
Bubba.
And Bubba, I had read on that report, though, when you had mentioned that you got teary-eyed, that you went outside to tell your wife, and the first thing she said was, "What's wrong?"
Yeah. Isn't that funny? We've been married 40 years, and we've got adult kids, and so typically, it's usually something like, James is this, or, Brittany is that. But this was one of those, I think the tears have to do more with, you have to move on. I mean, I've got adult kids, I've got grandkids and a great-grandkid. So about 20, 25 years ago, I let go of this thing. I let go. You know what I mean? If something stands that long and you get, your associates ask you, hey, how do you feel about that? At some point or another, you move on. And life, for example, COVID, life gives you something else to deal with. You ain't got time to sit around and be thinking about that.
Right.
Realistically, it was 43 years ago. So unless you dug a hole and put your head in it, you just move on. And so this truly came out of the blue. I mean, no one in my family even discusses it. It's I'm Papa, I'm Bubs, I'm my wife's husband, I'm a son-in-law. I mean, I'm just saying, this far removed, it really is a miracle. And by the way, guys, let's be honest. It seems like the NFL has always been kind of hard on the Lions in that regard. And, we always feel like we've been the stepchildren. Barry's been the last guy. And any kind of discussion of all-star performance or anything, I don't know what went on with the Fords and those guys way back then, but I just always felt like there was something going on there. And then all of a sudden, this comes out, makes a liar out of me and a crybaby all at once.
Hey, Al, let me fill everybody in what we're talking about. Al Bubba Baker joins us, of course, the sack king now. 1978 we go back to, his rookie year, where he was Defensive Rookie of the Year. He had 23 sacks that year, but guess what? The NFL wasn't counting them yet until 1982. So Pro Football Reference went back and tabulated all the sack records from 1962, when I was born, to 1982. And guess what? Bubba's got 23. Michael Strahan, 22 and a half. So congratulations to our own Al Bubba Baker from that Silver Rush. I love those uniforms. I wish they would use them again, Bubba.
Well, and Tom, what a great segue into, you guys in the sports business know this, but I want to state the fact. All I really am is I'm the guy that we decided that, okay, we're going to put this honor on your hat. But the truth is, if there was no Doug Ingram, Dave Purefoy, and John Woodcock, and a lot of the guys that were backup, they were all a part of it. You can't get around the tackle by yourself. Nobody's that good. Well, maybe one guy, Reggie White, because he would just literally pick up a guy and throw him on the quarterback. But, in those days when we could actually hit the quarterback for real, you had to be a part of almost like Floyd Peters and Floyd, by the way. Those are the guys who I'm representing in accepting this honor, because if for example, I was never fast enough if a quarterback got out of the pocket going the other way. Dave Dripward kept them in the pocket. When I came around the corner, it was Doug English and John Woodcock that pushed the center back that made the quarterback sit there long enough. And I have to make this admission. When I left Detroit, and I've said this 1,000 times to Doug, I just thought I was going to take my game and go to St. Louis and be just as dominant. And, it was all about me in my head. Well, you have to find another 7, 6 guys that are willing to sacrifice for the whole room. You know what I mean? And that just didn't happen. And that's no offense. And I'm not calling anybody out or anything. I'm just saying there was not 6 other guys that loved each other as much as we did in that room. We couldn't watch film together. We had more talent, ironically. Curtis Greer and David Galloway in St. Louis, and then it was up in Minnesota. It was Chris Dolman, a Hall of Famer, and Hank Thomas, who played for the Lions, and Al Noga, and Bill Gay again. But we never, ever had that Silver Rush type selfless play. And does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
100%.
Yeah,
That's
we never could gel. We never, we were good on our own, but as a unit, we were underachievers with all that talent, and it was so frustrating, especially when I got up to Minnesota with Millard and Dolman. They were great players.
right.
But as a unit, we should have made the Silver Rush look like babies, and we never reached. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I'm in a sense, I'm saying, well, I wish I had never left Detroit for the whole career of it. Who knows what we might have been able to do? But in your short sight, you don't know that. How many of us have taken a new job, got to the job, and went, "Oh man, I thought the last place sucked. This is worse."
Yeah.
So
Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah, you know what, that old thing about crying over spilt. Here I am crying again over spilt milk now. I mean, I've just turned into a weenie, huh?
No, you're not, Al. We love you, man.
No.
But isn't that real though? How many times have we done that or heard of another player leaving one organization to go get more money, which I didn't. The money wasn't there then, but it was my thinking. My thinking was, I'm just going to take my ball and go to St. Louis and do the same thing. And ironically, Floyd moved me to the left, and boy, was I sorry about that. Because that's a whole different ball game over there.
Absolutely. Hey, Bubba, take us back to yesterday. Like, how did you find out? Like, were you just going about your day, get a phone call, or like, how does Bubba Baker's day to bring him to tears and have his wife of 40-some years worrying what's wrong with him coming out of the house? How was your day?
Yeah.
Like, what'd you have for breakfast? Was it a pretty normal day?
It was really kind of strange because we have a rule. Our phones, we set our phones to shut off and start winding down at 9 at night, and then, it goes right to voicemail, but they don't come back on until 10 the next day. And the rule is, let's not, before we work out, before we pray, before we meditate, before we thank God for getting us up, let's don't take on no calls, and certainly not our kids.
Pilar will get there.
No loan conversations that won't get paid back. But I was sitting I was the one on the patio, and I was in meditation, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't know what happened because in the last maybe 5 years, I don't turn my phone on until after 10 o'clock. Never, no matter what. I don't look at it. And so something inside of me made me look at it, and then I saw a 310 area code. I knew that area code is being L.A., and I'm working on a script now of a legal drama series, and I'm working with a group of producers. Something over the years that was in my head, and some artwork, some characters. I thought it was this guy named Luke Agron, and so I'm like, oh man, he must have signed the confidentiality agreement, and we've been all trying to connect and get that done before we can move forward with script writers. And I looked at it, and it was a guy named, I want to say his name was Dave Singer from LA, and he said, hey, last night this happened, and explained it, and I didn't really get it until I read it again, and then I don't know how, I just start crying.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a happy cry. It was like, man, it's good to get that off my back. As I said, I wasn't thinking about it, so it caught me off guard.
Absolutely.
But you guys, you want to hear something even funnier?
I do.
The funniest part of all of this was I've never in my life, my mom, God bless her soul, she tell you, I've never in my life given up on anything or quit. But I went to speak to a group of kids one year. It was probably like 2005. And I went to speak to some kids. And the teacher said, hey, he read all this stuff. And then he called me up. And he said to one of the kids, this is the honest to goodness truth what happened. And he said, Al Bubba Baker. And, and the kids kind of, clapped like, yeah. And so the teacher, his name was Dave. I'll never forget him. And he said, hey, you kids, who Al Bubba Baker is? Something to that effect. And the kid goes, yeah, my dad said he played last century.
Yeah, you played in the 19s. That's right.
Years old as
Back
Matt.
in the 1900s, I say that all the time.
Everything that was on my mind from my career went out the window then because it had never been more true. And certainly the fact that there were no cell phones then,
Yeah.
how are they going to figure out who I am? I talked to broadcasters yesterday that were like, yeah, I had to go back and look up your career. And I'm like, oh, it's real. That's the truth. So I am very, very pleased for the fans in Detroit, the guys that I play with. And, Floyd's in pass rush, having John Woodcock up there with him.
Yep.
And Dave's up there, showing his fist going, yeah, you better have mentioned my name.
Hey, Bubba, Doug English wrote something on Twitter. He wrote, Bubba deserves to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. If his record would be weighted with at-bats, he would own the Hall of Fame! Explanation point. So there's your boy, Doug English, giving you props.
Wow, and I've got goosebumps right now because I feel the same way about Doug. Doug is somebody that, if it was not for Doug, and this is not to slight on any other guy, see, I don't think you guys know about a couple of the things, but we had some tricks that Doug and I did, and two of them that we did was hand signals. And I recently talked to a guy who played down in Tampa, and he was under the impression, Doug Williams, he thought that he knew what our hand signals were because the previous game against Tampa, we had sacked him. I had 5 sacks, and the guy across from me, Dan Reedy, was looking at Doug send me these hand signals. What they didn't know was Doug came up with this idea to give them false signals, put the same 2 fingers out like a catcher, but we didn't run that game. And sure enough, we just confused the heck out of him. And Doug told me, he said, hey, man, tell me, did the 2 fingers mean a U game? I said, yeah, the first game, but not the second game.
Yeah. You're like a pitcher and a catcher, man. Got to change them up, man. Bubba Baker.
It was all Doug's idea. So, hey, guys, I thank you so much. This is really, it's an emotional time. Like I said, there's so many other people involved. But I think the guy that I would like to leave you with, the guy who deserves the most credit, and I think you guys have all read about this, is Floyd Peters, because Floyd changed my middle name from Albert to an expletive, a 4-letter word. I thought my middle name was a swear word. The way he drove me like a mule, I hated him for it. And years after my career, it took Doug to explain to me what Floyd told him with dementia. And Floyd said he treated me like he did because he saw something in me, and he thought it took a different strategy to get it out of me. And it's never been more true because I took it out on the quarterback because I hated Floyd so badly. As a young man, I was 20, and he rode me. But that was the way Floyd coached the 8 guys in that room. All 8 of us, he had a different strategy for us. So none of us were ever treated equal. We were never treated the same, but equal. And he
Right.
expected you to get to the quarterback. No excuses, none whatsoever. You couldn't explain it. You either got there or you didn't. And if you didn't, he pulled you out of the game and told you to sit down and think about it. I don't care who you were.
There's always someone like that in our lives, Al. Do you still follow the Lions? Are you still rooting for them?
I am rooting for the Lions. You know, I'm down here in the South, and it's so weird how, you know, I'll see somebody and I'll have on my Lions T-shirt, and they'll say, "You too?" And we never say anything else except, yeah, I'll be like, "Yeah, me too." Yeah, you know, I think that says it all. You know, in that we're ride or die with the Lions, and mostly we've been dying. You know, it's just the things that happen. You just find yourself scratching your head, going, okay, I don't know what that was.
Hey, but we're winners today, Al. Thanks to you, we are winners
that's
today.
right.
Al
Absolutely.
Bubba Baker, the new single-season sack record holder in the NFL with 23. Congratulations, Al.
Yes.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's our
Thanks,
pleasure.
Thanks so
We'll,
much for joining us.
we'll get you again. Let us know when you're in town.
Go Lions!
Go
Go
Lions.
Go Lions, and continue the celebration, my friend. It's very much well deserved.
See you, Bubba.
Thank you. All right, go Lions.
God bless, man.
God bless you guys, too.
Oh, man.
You can still hear the excitement in his voice. I mean, what would you be doing to celebrate? I would be on a month-long celebration. I'd probably be celebrating the rest of the year. I'd be celebrating until that record was broken.
That's good. He played for some bad teams. They had some good starts, but they never finished up good. And Monty Clark was the coach back then, and and that Silver Dome was new back in those days. But that Silver Rush, and I just absolutely love. That's my favorite Lion uniform, and I wish that they would go back to that true Honolulu blue and silver look. One of these days, Mac.
One of these days.
One of these days.
Hey, when we deserve it.